Greetings to everybody here. Today, I will discuss how sustainable tourism and economic growth can be used as a powerful tool to preserve and promote indigenous languages. Before I continue, let me define a few key terms. Sustainable tourism is tourism that respects the culture, protects the environment, and benefits the local people without destroying what makes the place truly special. Economic growth is when a country becomes wealthier to improve the lives of its citizens. And an indigenous language, these are original languages of a people, spoken by our grandparents, our communities, and our history. Now let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen. Many young people today would rather speak English all the time because they believe it's cool. But that's how our indigenous languages slowly begins to disappear. But here is the interesting part. Tourism can actually help save them. Botswana provides a strong example of this. Our country is famous for places like the Okavango Delta and the Chobe National Park. Tourists come for the elephants, the lions, the beautiful landscapes, but they stay for our culture. What many people do not realize is that tourism is not only about the animals, it's about the people. When tourists visit local communities, they don't just take pictures, they learn. They listen to traditional stories, hear traditional greetings, and even sometimes try to speak an indigenous language themselves. Now let's be for real, ladies and gentlemen. When a tourist tries to speak an indigenous language, it may sound kind of funny, but it makes us proud. This interaction is very important. Firstly, it keeps indigenous languages in daily use. Instead of being forgotten, the language is heard, shared, and spoken by others. Language becomes something alive, not just something locked away in history. Secondly, tourism creates curiosity. Tourists ask questions like, what does this word mean? How do you greet someone in this language? This encourages people to learn, teach, and explain their indigenous language, which helps to preserve it. Thirdly, and most importantly, economic growth gives value to indigenous languages. Through tourism, people earn money by being tour guides, storytellers, performers, and in many of these activities, language plays a key role. For example, a tour guide who speaks an indigenous language can explain cultural meanings more deeply. A performer uses language in songs and dance. In this way, language becomes something more than just communication. It becomes a source of income. However, it is important that tourism must be used sustainably. If tourism is not used sustainably, it can destroy culture instead of preserving it. Therefore, our governments, our communities, and our young people all have a role to play. This means that schools should teach indigenous languages, communities should use them on a daily basis, and young people, yes, us, should stop treating our indigenous languages as if they are old-fashioned. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, sustainable tourism and economic growth are not just about making money and attracting visitors. They can be used as powerful tools to promote and preserve indigenous languages. Therefore, let us not be the generation that allowed our indigenous languages to disappear. Let us be the generation that gave our languages a voice, a stage, and a future. When we preserve our indigenous languages, we are not just saving words, we are saving our culture, our identity, and our history. Thank you.
Check out how the hats and things that you got there. Oh, sure. I'm going to open up a song now. Eh, Pagala Windan. You know, looking at a high to one of the local summers. I'm going to open up a song. Go down to Kotelama now. Ngwana wa re o sure a ba chipi ya motho batsadi a go opela ngwana o matsogo re dire ka botlalo le ka thuthuetso ya go bona gore bokamoso ba rona